Okay, I took the teeth from one of my previous model. I usually start making the head from the base mesh too, but this time I wanna make it from scratch. So I'm making the clone. Yes, here when you can see how to bind that to a specific hotkey. When I make a character from scratch without a clear idea what I wanna see in result, I prefer to start from the head first because it can determine the whole character. So I started from only one thing I was sure about. I knew that I wanted to make a monster guy with divided jaws. Well, I'm just splitting edges, adding points, tweaking points, and I'm trying just to determine base shape. I'm not making too many points at this moment because it will be really hard to control. So I'm always changing camera to check out the model from every angle, and when you have not too much points, it's very easy to fix anything you may have to. So defining some basic structures of the skull, cheekbone, forehead. Let's define the neck. This is a stage when the overall proportions matter. I'm not concerned with any specific details at the moment. But it's totally up to you what is significant or insignificant. That's why I've just divided the jaw, and I just wanted to make sure that it makes sense. Blocking in the eyes. Now it's just a 4 points hole, but it's really easy to control its position, and when I will be satisfied with that, I can add more points, but now it's okay. Let's change the position of the eyes. Yeah, I think this is better. Okay, now let's define the nose, just blocking in, no details at all. When I get more points, I can start use proportional modeling. The shape of the head is still really off, and tweaking the mesh with the proportional modeling turned on can really help me to fix that. I'm not concerned about good mesh topology at the moment. It's not important. What is important is general shape. My task now is to find some basic gestures and shape, and always keep my mind open for new design solutions. That's why proportional modeling is so extremely useful at this stage, because you can change proportions really easy. Well, continue refining the form. Yeah. Adding some accents to the basic structure of the head. It's an artificial character, so I do not restrain myself with the basic human anatomy. But anyway, I should keep some fundamental points of the head. Anyway. I think it's not too aggressive at the moment, so continue refine the form, and I think I should define the character a bit more. He's a monster, evil, mutant guy, so I think it's not enough. But we are almost there. I think this is enough for concept art. Don't go crazy with the details. Some adjustments in the shape. So let's tweak the shape a bit, and I think it's time to check out the geometry approximation. Yes, that's it. I change smooth group angle from time to time. It helps to re-estimate the shape from, different point of view. And it's especially helpful for hard surface stuff. Okay, this is what I got using this approach of modeling. This head is pretty well, and I think this is more than enough for concept art. Okay, now let's select the middle points and align them by scaling them down. Now we can delete the clone and symmetrize the head. Okay, this is our sketch head, and this is more than enough for concept art. So let's move forward and start making the body. This body I got from one of my previous projects. This looks pretty awful, but it's okay to start doing a new body for my character. Okay, I'm using Move tool with the proportional modeling turned on, and as you can see, it's pretty easy to control. So let's fix this terrible anatomy and make strong, tough body. I'm trying to define a dynamic for this torso because I know that it'll be a vest covering the body. I should keep this in mind. So you can see how I use push to make this body really big, and let's continue refining it. As you can see, it's full of triangles and other bad polygons, but that's okay, we will fix that later. Tweaking points, tweaking. Okay, let's unhide the head and check how the head and body fit together. Yeah, it still requires some refinement, but it's okay. It's not too much left. I want to make his torso really huge. Not as huge as Hulk, but huge enough. Don't forget that it will be west here. Okay, this is a base mesh of hand. I took one from one of my previous model. Now it's just a placeholder, so we don't pay too much attention to it. Let's hide the hands for a while, and now we're ready to make the legs. As you can see, I'm just extruding the edges, and now I'm ready to start blocking in. In fact, I was so much inspired by Gears of War that I just couldn't restrain myself, and I wanted to make my own Bigfoot guy. Adding points, edges, collapse edges. everything that I have already showed. It looks not so fancy at the moment. In fact, it looks terrible, but don't worry, we'll fix that. I generally understand what is gonna be, so I just need now to establish some basic shapes, and when I do that, I can move to the armor. I mean that all this geometry I'm blocking in right now is just a placeholder for the future geometry, and this approach can save you really a lot of time. Okay, make a sketch for the future food. It's pretty ugly at the moment. Yeah. Okay, when I get more points, it's time to worry about the balance, and I use proportional modeling with a pretty high radius to rebalance my shapes. As you can see, it's pretty helpful to use rotating with the proportional modeling turned on. Okay, adding some points. Tweaking. Define the knee. Okay, let's detach the leg. It'll give me more flexibility at the moment. Continue to refine the shape. Okay, this is what I finally got, and I think the balance is good now. Let's unhide the hands and check this out. Okay, now it's time to sketch up some models for his armor. There are a couple things which I'm sure about. First of all, this is his armor vest with handing grenades and a kinda nuclear backpack with some serious bombs inside. It should be heavy with a pretty tight design, so let's sketch it. Well, when I make armor stuff, I usually use two approaches for doing that. The first one is using Add New Polygon tool with the surface snap turned on. It's very easy to build some basic shapes and then just push them out. Using proportional modeling a lot. Adding some cylinders as grenades placeholder. Some details. Okay, let's block in the backpack. Some basic shapes for grenades, for bombs inside the backpack. It can be mines or just heavy bombs, whatever. As you can see, it's pretty easy to define the shape using edge by edge technique, and I'm adding some accents to the shape just want to check out if it makes sense. Some additional placeholders for future design. Making a bit of thickness. So as usual, just add points, tweaking points, and always check your model from different point of view. Okay, blocking in the belt. And here I'm using the second approach for creating armor. It's extracting polygons from the body itself. It's cool too. And sometimes it can make you a precious gift. I'm talking about natural mesh structure. If you select the polygons randomly and then extract them, you can get some interesting random shapes, which can be really valuable for your design. Okay, back to the belt. It should be heavy and at the same time fit to the vest and leg armor well. Adding some details. And I'm still not concerned about mesh structure. We will fix that only after we get satisfied with the overall form. If you don't really feel yourself comfortable with such freeform modeling, please check out what I'm doing right now and try to remember. I'm showing some really valuable tricks for building form, which actually took years for me to find out. It's pretty simple, but takes a while for practice. And it's very important to be consistent in your actions. Every point you create should be created for a reason. Refine the shape, checking some possible details. This is how I make the space between plates. I just delete the polygons. Still blocking in the shapes and test some details. Okay, let's hide these polygons and add hip plate. Excuse me, not yet. Still refine the belt. And now it's time to make this hip plate. Building base silhouette. Hip plate can be easily get from the leg geometry as well. Testing details. Still not sure about that, but let's keep it for a while. As you can see, I'm using different materials for armor. It's darker than base body mesh. So hip belt can be easily extracted from the leg as well. Moving polygons, building the shape, symmetrize it. Sorry, I've just made a clone, not symmetrized. Okay, let's make triangulation. I use that like a trick for finding some new design solutions. Because you get diagonal edges in the mesh, you can easily find some new possible design elements or details. Especially it's helpful for hard surface stuff. Yep. Define the knee. Make it the clone for it. It's pretty simple at the moment. Trying to find some good position for it, and now I'm ready to block it in the boot. I really love big mass of the boot. I know it's maybe pretty hard to move in such stuff, but I want a strong, solid silhouette. I want to make a big mass and a pretty tough design. So I think this is exactly what I was looking for. And so let's build the shape. Still not happy with the knee. Changing the place. Okay, adding some additional plates for the boot. Still a placeholder. So I'm just concentrated on the form, on overall form. Wanna get a big mass. As you can see, it's pretty helpful to use extracting polygons from the mesh, because after you extract the polygons, you get the right position for it, and it can save your time. Still not sure about the back side of the boot. Just playing with the shape, nothing more. Okay, making the clone. Let's unhide the hands so we can see the shape, the general shape of the character. Okay, we're almost done with that. Let's improve the silhouette. Still have to fit the different parts of the armor together. The shape is still pretty loose, but I hope you get the idea. Okay, some details for the backpack. Okay, I think this is more than enough for start drawing concept art. So let's take a screenshot, grab it from Exercise to Photoshop. Let's increase also image resolution, and after that blur the image. It will help me to not be distracted by the details. Okay, I think now we're ready to move to concept art drawing.